In 1972, Bruce Lee was filming a scene for Game of Death. In the script, his character is shot by a prop gun that had been secretly loaded with a real bullet by the mafia. It was a dark piece of cinematic fiction designed to shock the audience. But exactly 20 years later, his son, Brandon Lee, would walk onto the set of The Crow and be killed by a prop gun that had been accidentally loaded with a real bullet fragment. Two men, father and son, dead at the peak of their lives under circumstances so similar they defy the laws of probability.
July 20th, 1973. Hong Kong was a pressure cooker of heat and humidity. Bruce Lee was 32 years old and arguably the most fit human being on the planet. He was a man who treated his body like a high-performance machine, obsessed with nutrition and physical perfection. He was on the verge of global superstardom with the upcoming release of Enter the Dragon. He was a god among men, seemingly invincible. Yet, by midnight, the world would be told that the dragon was dead.
The day began normally. Bruce met with producer Raymond Chow at 2 p.m. to discuss their next film. By 4 p.m., they arrived at the apartment of actress Betty Ting Pei. For hours, they went over the script. But around 7:30 p.m., Bruce complained of a sudden, stabbing headache. To help him rest, Betty gave him a single tablet of Equagesic, a common painkiller. Bruce went to her bedroom to lie down for a short nap before a planned dinner meeting. He closed his eyes, drifting into a sleep from which he would never wake up. By 9 p.m., Raymond Cho returned to the apartment to check on Bruce. He found the martial arts legend unresponsive. There was no breath, no movement. A doctor was summoned and spent 10 frantic minutes performing CPR, but the silence in the room was deafening. Bruce was rushed to Queen Elizabeth Hospital, but it was a mere formality. At 11:30 p.m., the announcement was made to a stunned public. Bruce Lee was gone. The world stopped. The invincible man had been defeated by something invisible.
The official autopsy report pointed to a misfire of the human body. The cause of death was listed as cerebral edema, acute swelling of the brain. A normal human brain weighs about 1,400 grams. Bruce Lee's brain had swollen to 1,575 grams. It had expanded until it crushed itself against the interior of his skull. The coroner ruled it a death by misadventure, claiming he had a hypersensitive reaction to the aspirin in the Equagesic pill. But many experts found this impossible. How could a single pill destroy a man of such legendary health? For decades, the medical community remained divided. However, in 2022, a new study proposed a chillingly mundane theory. Bruce Lee died because he drank too much water. Researchers suggested he suffered from hyponatremia, a condition where the kidneys cannot excrete excess water, causing cells to swell. Bruce was on a strict fluid diet and was known to use diuretics to keep his muscles dry and defined for the camera. The theory suggests his kidneys simply gave up, and the very hydration he used to stay healthy became the poison that drowned his brain. But the streets of Hong Kong didn't believe the doctors. In the 1970s, the Chinese mafia, the Triads, controlled the film industry. Rumors exploded that Bruce had been assassinated for refusing to pay protection money. Some believed he was poisoned with a rare, undetectable toxin known only to the underworld. Others whispered about the dim mock, the death touch. It was said that weeks earlier, a rival master had struck Bruce at a specific pressure point, a delayed strike designed to cause an internal collapse exactly 30 days later. Then there is the supernatural explanation that haunts the Lee legacy. Shortly before his death, Bruce moved into a home in Hong Kong that neighbors warned was cursed by bad feng shui. Local legends say the demons of the house take the firstborn sons.
This dark superstition became a terrifying reality in 1993 when Brandon Lee died on a movie set at age 28. The parallels were too perfect to ignore. Two young men, both movie stars, both dying under mysterious circumstances involving a simulated death that became real.
In the vacuum of truth, some fans chose to believe the ultimate conspiracy. Bruce Lee faked his own death. They argue that the pressure of fame and the threats from the Triads became too much. They point to the open casket photos where Bruce looks different, suggesting a body double was used. The theory claims he retreated to a monastery or a private island to live out his days in peace. But if Bruce Lee were alive, would he have stayed silent as his son was buried 2 decades later? The silence of the grave suggests otherwise.
51 years later, the mystery of Bruce Lee remains one of history's most unsettling chapters. Whether it was a freak medical accident, a calculated hit by the underworld, or a dark family curse that skipped a generation, the result remains the same. The man who taught the world that there are no limits was ultimately met by the one limit no human can escape. We are left only with the films, the legends, and the haunting question: what really happened in that apartment on July 20th? Some secrets, it seems, are meant to stay behind the veil of history.